We now go into the specific renal anomalies. These are the different renal anomalies arising from the abnormal differentiation during the embryonic development of the kidney. So the kidney anomalies may either be agenesis, dysgenesis, abnormalities in rotation, or ectopy and fusion. Renal agenesis basically is the absence of kidney development. This is due to the failure of the ureteral bud to develop by the fourth week of life. It is found in 1 is to 450 to 1,000 live births. Take note that it's more common among males and it usually involves the left kidney. Renal agenesis is usually an incidental finding in the evaluation for other congenital abnormalities. What is commonly seen is that there is a single umbilical artery with the absence of ureter and ipsilateral bladder hemitrigone, and there is a defective or absent ipsilateral internal genitalia. What is pathognomonic in the history of patients with renal agenesis is maternal oligohydramnios. However, in these patients, severe pulmonary hypoplasia is the rule. Renal agenesis may either be unilateral or bilateral. Unilateral renal agenesis is most commonly diagnosed during workups for UTI or other abnormalities. As mentioned, it is more common among males and usually there is compensatory hypertrophy of the contralateral kidney. As mentioned before, renal agenesis is usually diagnosed during workup for other abnormalities. These are the common associated abnormalities in patients with unilateral renal agenesis. Unilateral renal agenesis puts the patient at risk for development of hypertension and proteinuria. Although these patients may have a normal life expectancy, a normal renal function may be achieved if with normal contralateral kidney. What about in patients with bilateral renal agenesis? These patients usually manifest with the typical Potter syndrome, which is compatible with extrauterine life. As mentioned, death is usually secondary to pulmonary hyperplasia and it is usually seen in 1 to 3,000 births. Male preponderance is usually seen in patients with bilateral renal agenesis and as mentioned, there is maternal oligohydramnios and non-visualizing bladder and absent kidneys on congenital scans during pregnancy. The stigmata of bilateral renal agenesis are seen in patients with Potter fascie. Take time to visualize the characteristic features of patients with Potter syndrome. Bilateral renal agenesis is usually associated with anorectal, cardiovascular, and skeletal abnormalities. As mentioned, these are the prenatal maternal ultrasound findings and during prenatal consults. Stillbirths are usually seen among patients with bilateral renal agenesis, or they may live for a few hours. The cause of death is usually respiratory failure due to pulmonary hypoplasia. We now go to the next kidney anomaly, which is renal dysgenesis. Renal dysgenesis is the maldevelopment of the kidney in terms of size, shape, and structure. The three principal types are hypoplasia, dysplasia, and cystic formation. Some of these patients may have a combination of dysplasia and hypoplasia. The first type of renal dysgenesis is renal aplasia, wherein there is rudimentary kidney and presence of the ureter. We now go to renal hypoplasia. Renal hypoplasia refers to reduced renal mass less than the total number of cells or nephrons without histologic evidence of dysplasia. Small, non-dysplastic kidneys with reduced number of calyces and nephrons. Renal hypoplasia may be unilateral, which would present with segmental or entire kidney involvement. It is a common cause of hypertension in the first decade of life. Bilateral renal hypoplasia presents as chronic renal failure, which is the leading cause of end-stage renal failure during the first decade of life. There is usually history of polyuria and polydipsia. However, normal urinalysis are seen in these patients. We now go to another renal dysgenesis, which is renal dysplasia. Renal dysplasia, on the other hand, is a form of abnormal renal morphogenesis characterized histologically by focal, diffuse, or segmentally arranged primitive structures. There is altered or abnormal metanephric differentiation of the kidney, and it may affect all or only a part of the kidney. Take note that in renal dysplasia, there is abnormal size and shape and contains fibrous tissue islands of cartilage or abnormal duct tissue with disorganized nephrons. The pathogenesis of renal dysplasia is multifactorial, and it is suggested by the BUD theory, wherein the ureteral bud arises in an abnormal location, giving rise to abnormal penetration in induction of the metanephric blastema, resulting to abnormal kidney differentiation, thus dysplasia. The pathogenesis also involves or results from intrauterine obstruction of the urinary tract. In patients with renal dysplasia, if cysts are present, it is termed as cystic dysplasia. If the entire kidney is dysplastic with preponderance of cysts, multidysplastic kidney disease results. Multicystic dysplasia or multicystic dysplastic kidney disease is the most common cause of abdominal mass in the newborn. It is usually an incidental finding during prenatal sonography, and it is characterized by appearance of the kidney replaced by multiple cysts that do not communicate, with no identifiable parenchyma present. This is the image of patients with multicystic dysplastic kidney disease. Multicystic dysplastic kidney disease is usually associated with developmental anomalies of the lower tracts. If it's unilateral, it would present as a non-functional plank mass, and cyst with little or no renal tissue is seen, and these patients are at risk of developing hypertension or infection. Bilateral multicystic dysplastic kidney disease may present as chronic renal failure, and in severe cases present as Potter's syndrome. We now go to the third kidney anomaly due to renal dysgenesis, which is cystic diseases. The most common cystic lesion of the kidney are simple cysts or simple retention cysts. They are usually solitary or multiple and unilateral or bilateral. They may present as unilocular, avascular, smooth-walled and filled with clear fluid with low fat and protein, without malignant cells on histology. This is an image of simple retention cyst. Simple retention cysts are incidental finding on imaging studies such as ultrasound, IVU, or CT scan. It presents less often as a palpable abdominal mass and should undergo surgical expiration if an ultrasound or CT scan showed complex cyst. As mentioned, multicystic disease may be unilateral, which is sometimes asymptomatic, and these patients or conditions are usually not inherited, while bilateral cystic kidney diseases are not compatible with life. This should be differentiated from polycystic kidney disease, which will be discussed in the following sessions. So in general, as mentioned, multicystic dysplastic kidney disease is commonly benign dysplastic malformation of the fetal kidney and usually secondary to ureteropelvic occlusion, ureteral atresia, or osteogenesis. As mentioned, has a male preponderance and it is predominantly on the left side. This is an image of patients with multicystic dysplastic kidney disease. In patients with multicystic dysplastic kidney, the kidney is replaced by large multicystic non-functioning variable renal mass. It is usually unilateral and generally not inherited. It may be managed by elective surgical excision if it interferes with respiration, feeding, or associated with hypertension. Another cystic disease of the kidney is polycystic kidney disease, which is an inherited disorder. This will be discussed in the next session.